Hello, High Halden School and hello, Woodchurch School. It's Reverend Sue here again, and today we're going to be thinking about Advent. Jesus is the light of the world. Let us follow him. Now, I've put some pictures up here. Let's see if we can get them working. To help us to think a little bit about Advent, I'm just going to hide some of these things on the screen. That's better. Now, have a look at those pictures there. I wonder what we're thinking about when we think about Advent. I always think about waiting for things. Can you see those pictures? What are we waiting for? Well, many of you will be thinking about Santa and thinking about the presents you get at Christmas. That's one of the important things that we're waiting for, isn't it? And what other things can we think of when sometimes we're waiting? I've put a picture up here of queues of people. Can you see this picture here with all those feet queuing up? I wonder what they're waiting for. They might be waiting for a ride or waiting to get into something. I wonder if it's at one of the amusement parks or somewhere like that. You might like to be waiting for your birthdays. I bet there's times of the year when you're counting down and thinking about how long it is to your birthday. Is it anybody's birthday today, I wonder? Sometimes waiting is not such a good thing. Can you see this picture of a traffic jam there? If you were trying to get somewhere with your family and you were stuck in a traffic jam, that wouldn't be a very nice way of waiting, would it? And I expect sometimes when you're in the car on a long journey, you might be trying to work out how long it takes to get somewhere. And there's another queue down here that might not be very nice. I don't know what they're queuing for. It might be to get in somewhere or for a shop. But lots of people queuing along the street. Other things that we might be waiting for and looking forward to. Perhaps we like to do sports and we might be waiting for our next time when we're going to play football. We might be waiting for our next holiday. This has been a difficult year, and I expect you might not have been able to have the holidays or do the sports and things that you normally do. So waiting can be quite difficult. And when we're waiting, sometimes we use things to help us think about waiting. And of course, Advent in church is all about waiting for baby Jesus to be born. We remember that at Christmas. And so the waiting that we're doing at the moment is all about counting down to that Christmas day, the time when we remember Jesus being born. Now, let me just go back to my picture for a little while. There we are. Now, I've brought some things with me today to think about Advent. I firstly got this nice purple stole. Can you see that? I like Advent in church because when we have different seasons in church, we wear different colours. And the colour for Advent is purple. And I always like purple. It's my favourite colour. So I'm looking forward to wearing my purple stole, which is like a scarf when I go into church. Now, what sort of things do we have when we're waiting for Christmas, waiting for Jesus to come? We've got ways of marking out the time when we're waiting. Can you see this candle? It's quite difficult to see on my screen, isn't it? Let me put it in front of my black shirt. You probably can't see it very well on there, but there's numbers all down the candle. There are numbers for every day, all the way down the candle. So the idea is it's an Advent candle and you burn a little bit more every day. And as it gets shorter and shorter, it tells you when it's Christmas time. And at the bottom, you can just about see that. There's a little picture of a nativity of the baby Jesus and Mary and Joseph on the bottom of the candle. So that's one way of thinking about Advent. And I've got some Advent calendars here. Well, you get all sorts of different ones. You might have some at home. Some of these have got chocolates and things in, I think. That one's got snowmen and gingerbread men. Ooh, this one's got Transformers. I think that's got chocolate inside. And this is one my grandson used to like, PJ Mask. So that's got chocolate inside that as well. Now, when I was a little girl, Advent calendars always looked like this. Can you see that? There's a picture of a nativity scene. So there's Mary and Joseph and baby Jesus and the kings. And every day you open a little envelope, a little window on there, just like on the ones with chocolate in. And it probably gives you a little picture of perhaps a star or an angel or something that's in the Bible from the story of baby Jesus. So that's an Advent calendar, more of an old-fashioned one, the sort of one I had when I was little. And I bought a very special one for this year that we're going to open together next week. Can you see? It's my favourite there on my new Advent calendar. Now, this comes from a charity called UNICEF, and I've made a donation, a gift to that charity for this calendar. And my gift goes to help children in poor countries around the world. So when we open the windows on this special Advent calendar, we're going to look to see what's behind those windows and what children we've helped each day. I just thought that might be a good idea. And I really like Paddington Bear, as you know. So we're going to be doing that. We'll start doing that next week because Advent starts on Sunday. So on Sunday, we're not actually in church at the moment. So I've got a little video that Reverend Mike, my husband, and I made of us lighting the candle in church. So I can play that to people on our Zoom church on Sunday. And I'm going to play it to you as well today. So you can see us lighting our candle in church for Advent. So Advent is really all about waiting and thinking about what's coming, thinking about the time that baby Jesus was born and looking forward to that celebration of Christmas. So we're going to be thinking a bit more about that in a minute. And now I'm going to read a Bible story. I'm going to start to tell you the Christmas story a little bit today because I thought we'll share a little bit of it each time with our collective worship over the next few weeks. And I'm going to start reading some of that to you today. So let me find my story. Here we are. There. Let's hide that top bit. There. So let's read this story then and look at the pictures. And this story is taken from a book that I've got, all about the birth of Jesus, it's called. So I've taken pictures of the pages as I can't be there with you today. So the story starts long ago in the town of Nazareth lived a young woman called Mary. One day, Mary had a fright. She saw an angel. The angel Gabriel said, "Don't be afraid. I bring you good news about Christ our Lord, the King of the Jews. God is going to bless you with a baby," said Gabriel, "and his name will be Jesus." "I will do as God asks," said Mary. So there's a picture, isn't there, of Angel Gabriel and Mary together. Now, Mary was engaged to marry Joseph, the carpenter. What do you think about Mary having a baby? Well, Joseph was upset, but then one night he had a dream, and in his dream an angel told him all about Mary's baby coming from God. "You will name the baby Jesus," said the angel. And when Joseph woke up, he understood. So Joseph and Mary were married. There, that's a nice picture there, isn't there? Joseph and Mary. Now, at this time, everyone had to be counted so that they could pay taxes. And Mary and Joseph had to go to Joseph's hometown to be counted. Can you see that picture of them travelling? Now, Mary was pregnant. She was expecting a baby. She was almost ready to have her baby. So she rode on a donkey, and it was a long, tiring journey. They travelled all the way from Nazareth to Bethlehem. There we are. There's a picture. We call that a silhouette, don't we? A picture of the figures against the light background is a silhouette. And they're travelling from Nazareth to Bethlehem. Now, I had a little look to work out how far that is, and it's about 70 miles, which is a long way, really. I wonder if any of you have been to visit somewhere in London, perhaps Buckingham Palace, or the London Eye, the big wheel, or Tower Bridge or something, well, that's about 70 miles away. And just imagine if you had to walk all that way. It would take you a long, long time to walk there, at least a few days, even if you were able to walk all day, every day. So poor Mary and Joseph had a long, long journey. And Mary was very large and uncomfortable because her baby was nearly time to come. So there they are on their journey. When at last Mary and Joseph arrived in Bethlehem, the streets were crowded. There was no room left at the inn, so nowhere to stay. What could they do and where could they stay? So let's stop there. As I said, I'm going to read a little bit of the story every week as we get towards Christmas, and then we can talk about it each time. So today we've been thinking about Advent and thinking about waiting, haven't we? And what we do when we're waiting. So sometimes when we're waiting, we might think of things to do. So if you're on a long journey, you might have things to do in the car. Have you ever tried to do I Spy or to count things? And perhaps if you're in a Disney queue for a ride, if you've ever been to Disneyland, you might have markers that tell you how long the queue is and how long you're going to wait. So we have to sometimes get used to waiting, don't we? It's quite a difficult thing. Just going to swap across now. There we are. The waiting can be quite difficult, but it's just something that as we grow up, we need to get used to waiting, because it's often things that we have to wait for, and we need to try to be patient when we're waiting, don't we? And these things like our Advent calendars and our candles, they just help us to mark the days and to think about the things that we can be doing while we're waiting, finding things to do. So we're going to now look at the lighting of the Advent candle. And after that, we'll say a prayer. And then I'm going to play you a song, and I'll tell you all about that song in a minute. So let's light our Advent candle. And now Mike is going to light our first Advent candle. People of God, awake. The day is coming soon when you shall see God face to face. Remember the ways and the works of God. God calls you out of darkness to walk in the light of his coming. You are God's children. Lord, make us one as we walk with Christ today and forever. Amen. So that was the lighting of our Advent candle. And now we're going to listen to one of my favourite Advent hymns that we like to sing in church at this time of the year. And it's all about the angel Gabriel who came to visit Mary on that special day. So let's listen to that now.
The angel Gabriel from heaven came. His wings as drifted snow, his eyes as flame. All hail, said he, thou lowly maiden Mary, most highly favored lady, For know a blessed mother thou shalt be, all generations, Lord, and honor thee. Thy Son shall be Emmanuel, by seers foretold, most highly favored lady, Then gentle Mary meekly bowed her My soul shall laud and magnify his holy name. Most highly favored Lady, Gloria. Of her Emmanuel the Christ was born in Bethlehem on a Christmas morn, and Christian folk throughout the world will ever say, most highly favored Lady, Gloria.
So I hope you enjoyed that song. God be with us in our classroom. God be with us now. God be with us every day. God be with each of us now. So goodbye, everybody, and I'll see you all next week. God bless. Bye-bye.